This time on Low Boost, we're going to do a review on how my upgraded power steering cooler does on our C5 Corvette track car. Okay, to catch you guys up to speed on where I am in this endeavor, I cut away the front license plate of my car to help for cooling for my radiator, but ultimately now it's actually going to be much better to use this for my power steering cooler upgrade. Everything is all out of the way and you can see my old power steering cooler there, but I want to move the power steering cooler right to the front. I bought a Setrab power steering cooler that is significantly bigger than my old one. I got it on Pegasus Auto Racing Supplies. They had everything that I needed to actually put this whole kit together. And I'm kind of going to run down a little bit of what I did here. I also have a full video series leading you up to this point. I bought an Autometer oil temperature sensor, part number 6348, that I ran into the car using an inline AN fitting to tap into to read the oil temperature. It was a little tricky, but that's the fitting I got to tap into the oil temperature. And I had to get 2 adapter fittings to actually get the sensor to fit in there, but I'll show you how it all works, and it does work. Here's a better shot of the power steering cooler with the mounting brackets and the 6 AN fittings that I got. I think the bottom size of those are M22s. And I got hose bar bend fittings to put it all together. Inside the car, I have it right there. It's angled back, but it does circulate through pretty good, and you get a lot of great air coming from the outside with this thing, which I love. It really works. Here is what my inline sensor fitting looks like with the plug there, and then I'm just going to have to plug that right into the car. This is what it looks like from the outside without my license plate guard on it. You can see the air coming in, straight shot, curved right down onto the power steering cooler, and then I have the T fitting back there, as you can see as well. And then I run that all the way around up and into the car. And I ran it up and around where my radiator is, through that loom that you see right here, through the side, kind of tucked underneath my brake booster and everything else, all the way around. And I took off the loom, ran it into the car itself, through the side, and actually through the door panel. As you can see here, just still tucked underneath the weather stripping to avoid any leaks. I mounted the gauge pod right on the A-pillar. I felt like it was the easiest spot for me to do it. Once that was all in, I was able to actually take it for a nice little test drive and actually see what the temperatures are driving around, but it's really hard to replicate on the road. It was a good sign to know just driving around on the road that the temperature of the power steering cooler never really got more than 10 degrees over ambient temperature if I'm driving around on the highway. But this is in just cruising situations. The hottest I got it to, sitting in traffic for 40 minutes on a 95-degree day, was 135 degrees, which, if I could keep it less than that on the track, I think I'd be in pretty good shape. Let's take a look at the helmet cam footage from my best lap. After about 4 or 5 laps on track, coming around turn 18, my temperatures were getting up there, but not too bad. They were at 135 degrees coming down the straight. Now this is the temperature of the oil before it goes through the power steering cooler, so it's going to be a little hotter there. However, it is the hottest inside the pump, but I don't have a good way of putting a sensor there. At the end of the main straight, the temps had cooled off considerably. I think it got down to about 128, 129 degrees before I started turning again. They say the temperature that power steering fluid will really start to thin out and seep through the rack is around 240 degrees, so I'm assuming it can't be more than 100 degrees more where my sensor is located than it actually is inside the tank itself, but the tank does throw off a lot more heat. You can see as I'm going around the track that temps are climbing again, and that's normal because I'm putting a lot of stress with my 315 tires going around the track here, but it still didn't go over 140 degrees throughout the hottest portions of the day and me on my hottest lap possible. I think this goes to show 2 things. 1, this oil cooler works great, and 2, the location of it I think really helps out because it's just getting straight cold ambient air, and the faster I go, the better it's going to cool it off. Sections where I'm not going as fast at higher RPM, turning tightly is really where it's going to see the most stress. So as soon as I'm able to actually get some speed back in it, the temps do cool off on any straightaway or a place where I'm not really revving the car out too high, because the higher revs create a lot more heat too because that pump is spinning. I actually don't shift at 6,500 RPM. I shift around 5,500 to actually save the temps. As you can see here, finishing off my hardest and fastest lap, it didn't get over 138 degrees before I hit the main straight again, and it cooled it back off considerably by the time I hit the end of the main straight, which is huge. That's not much hotter than it was on a 95-degree day with me sitting in traffic for a long period of time. So if it's only getting to those temperatures on track, I think it's going to be just fine. All right, so there you have it. After a full track day, driving that thing hard in 80+ degree temps, the temps of the power steering fluid never got over 140 degrees. I have a bunch of videos on how I did everything for this, so I'll put links to those in the description below. I'll also put links to all of the stuff that I bought to make this kit in the description below as well. They're all on Amazon, so if you guys end up using those links, it helps the channel out as well. Thank you guys very much for your support. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.